We're tracking Elsa this morning. She's just a couple of hours away from us. Live look right now. It's Scituate and the lighthouse there. It's raining at this point, but the winds and the heavy rains, they haven't arrived just yet, Kate.
Still a beautiful shot there in Scituate there, the lighthouse. Gorgeous. Not a great day. We're going to be dealing with this all day long. Zach, you are watching all of this action, and it's just going to take up much of the day.
Yeah, but the good news is it's a one-and-done type of scenario, less of an impact or a threat to your weekend plans. So if we can get past Friday, we'll be doing all right. Hopefully yesterday you guys prepared and sort of had an action day, getting some of the patio furniture locked down. This is going to be really gusty stuff. At this point, max sustained winds, and there is a difference between sustained winds and gusts, but the core of this energy has it around 50 miles per hour, which is very interesting. It's been over mainly land for the past 36 hours, but there is a wave of high pressure that's off to the east, and that's allowed this to maintain its strength even without the fuel of ocean water. Now we're starting to see it get back introduced into parts of the western Atlantic. It's getting out of the way of the Chesapeake Bay. Off to the north of this, we're already dealing with the very heavy rain from New York City down through Philadelphia. We have had very gusty winds on top of it too. The peak gust at 78 miles per hour out towards the Jersey Shore, and we may just tap into some of that energy as it closes in on Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket. This is the official track from the National Hurricane Center. It's really narrowed in at this point, but think that the 95 corridor is going to be our line of demarcation. To the north and west of that, we will likely get the drenching, soaking rain with flash flooding concerns. To the south and east, less of a rain event, more of a wind threat for you with outages on your doorstep, especially as we get closer to lunchtime. You notice the yellows, the oranges, and the reds. I think torrential might be an understatement. We're looking at a half to 3/4 of an inch per hour to persist over a wave of 6 to possibly 7 hours straight. That's going to ultimately lead to 2 to 4 inches across parts of the Pike, 495, 128, and even into northern Massachusetts, and we're not going to rule it out towards Worcester County too. Less of a flooding concern as we get to the coastline because this is arriving during low tide, so you won't get that typical splash over that we would see in, say, a nor'easter. However, we may get some of that out towards the Cape and the islands as the winds are going to be driving in that water, so that is definitely something to consider. By 2 p.m., a lot of this energy is starting to roll out of Cape Cod Bay, enter the Gulf of Maine, and then eventually that's going to be skipping out towards the Canadian Maritimes. So by the end of the day, we look to 6 p.m., it's not all that bad, but the cleanup and restoration efforts will begin. It's going to be rather tough even going into tonight. So there you have the highest rain totals. You see the gauges ranging between about 1 to possibly 2.5 inches. That's not taking into consideration those strong bands which want to line up towards 128. That's going to give us that 3 to 4 inch potential. Only about a half to maybe a full inch as we go east of Buzzards Bay, but you replace that with the wind of 40 to 60 miles per hour. It is really going to be whipping for you guys. We don't want to exclude those north of Buzzards Bay. We go out to the eastern side of Plymouth County, right up through Cape Ann. We still have tropical storm force winds possible of 39 plus miles per hour, but I think the majority of the outages are likely going to be reserved to the densely populated forestry areas of northern Bristol and Plymouth County. So we could topple down some trees. Power outages most likely as we go to the southeastern side of the state, the south coast and the islands. Batteries, you guys are going to want to need them as we go into the second half of the day. We look into the early afternoon to get some of those strongest wind gusts. The rain persisting right up into about 4 to 5 p.m. and then we start quieting things down. I'm not expecting that jump in temperatures at all. However, we'll get a few leftover showers as we head into the upcoming weekend. Saturday, we're not going to call it dreary. It's just some spotty conditions into the mid-70s for our highs. If you were looking for a warmer and brighter spot, Sunday is going to be our winner. We dry things out with partial sunshine into the low and even mid-80s, and we only turn that dial up as we move into next week. So we keep the 80s in place for Monday and Tuesday. Rain chances for the beginning of the week, but I think that subsides with more sunshine on the way for Wednesday and Thursday. At that point, getting close to 90 degrees. And Brianna, how are things looking on the commute?